on his way to win it, overtaking Affi. Is Pac gonna win it by KO? This is gonna be the knockout win for Pac, the M&M player.
Hey, good evening everyone and welcome to the Trackmania Weekly Show after having a week of, well, no weekly show, which doesn't really go with the name. We are back for another one. My name is Sinas and we have Fallen here with us.
Hello. It's now the bi-weekly show. We're rebranding. Every 2 weeks there will be a show to catch you up. But I mean, when you've got 2 weeks of content to talk about, I guess it makes up for the lack of a show in all fairness, because, well, this last week was really one of the most insane in TMGL history, with a bunch of different stuff we can talk about, especially the Mr. Unbeatable himself, Mudda, with 10 wins. You've got all of the different events that took place and the upsets that might have came across from that, and really just there's too much to talk about in an hour. I'll be very honest.
Indeed. Sadly, we have 2 hours worth of stuff. We have to do it in 1 hour, but indeed, we're gonna review the 2 weeks. We have highlights coming up for 2 weeks. We have 3 interviews with the big winners, in my opinion, of the last 2 steps. And then we have the new stuff coming up, right? This weekend is gonna be packed with Trackmania content as well.
Yeah, so I feel like we kind of need to just jump straight into it and get into the review section. We are going to be talking about week 5 and week 6. We're combined into one due to some server issues, but now that just means we've got 10 different rounds of Trackmania that took place, and, well, there was only one that stood at the top by the end of it, and that man is Mudda, obviously.
Yeah. Mudda indeed went 10-0, which is a pretty good record. Got himself 2 champion medals, and out of nowhere, instead of everyone having only one, Mudda now ends the season on top with 3 of them. So very, very convincing regular season win for the Australian player. And I just love seeing him play these last 2 steps, man. He was really good.
Yeah, getting to watch him, not only this morning, if you haven't seen it on his Twitter, posted the new knife edge world record, which is, I think, over a quarter of a second faster than the original one, just to show, the season's over for me. I'm that far ahead at this point. No one even question it. But he wasn't the only one on form. This last weekend, you had Affi and Pac picking up their first champion medals as well. They looked very strong. Pac, I believe, getting it in the first half, and Affi getting it in the second half. The do-or-die moment for Affi was on the verge of being bottom end of the top 12, jumps up to 5th with that one single champion medal. It was a perfect turn of events in those final 5 maps to get the job done and to come through alongside Mudda.
Yeah, indeed. And I think looking at the last couple of weekly shows we've done in the interviews, we talked about who is doing the comeback at the end of the season. And people will say, it's just a matter of time till Affi and Pac get their champion medals. Yeah. That's really the vibe we've been having. And here we are at the end, and they got their champion medals. So no big surprises except for, well, they had to pull it off. And, well, they did. They did really well.
Yeah, I mean, Pac was sort of running out of time for his one. Ended up taking it at the top of track 5 on a heart for the week 5 section of it, but then we moved over to week 6. That's where I think Mudda really came into his own. You got to see just how good the Australian is, but Affi held his own in that lobby, with Brandon and Papu both hunting an icy jump to try and take him down. He took the medal, he came through, gets himself into that top 8 and knocks out 2 other players with champion medals in the process, those being Massa and Oltak, who weren't able to make it into the top 8. They'll have to fight through a rather difficult section now.
Yeah, and this is something really I did not expect at the start of the season, to see 10 different players that have champion medals. If you look at the Challenger final rankings, it's very different.
Yeah.
So this is something very special. Like, you would say, Massa, I'm pretty sure he got his champion medal week 1. It's all a blur at this point. But
I'll double check. You carry on.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, we were like, okay, well, he's definitely safe for the next season. And he's probably, it's a big word here, in the playoffs already. But here we are, he's not. So that's very, very interesting to see that so many people got champion medals.
Yep, Massa got it week 1 with Bren. So, yeah, that shows the difference, doesn't it? Week 1, you have Bren and Massa looking very strong to start with. Bren continues that momentum, gets 3rd in the end. Very well done with those 3 gold medals, the 2 silvers, as well as that original champion. But Massa wasn't able to follow through on the gold and silver front with the 4 bronzes, not a single silver, only 1 gold. That's where the sort of slip happened. They weren't able to maintain the same momentum and thus dropped out of that top 8 where they would most likely have expected themselves to be at the end of the season. It's one of those really awkward things. You get that champion, we heard everyone the first 3 weeks, you get that champion, you feel comfortable, you feel confident, yeah, you know what, I got a champion, I can get top 8, that's guaranteed finals. Not anymore, not in this current era of TMGL, where everyone is capable of getting a champion medal, quite literally.
This is clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. And then we have gold medals to be given away. And you have, the gold medal hunters, Papu and Grenadi at 11 and 12. But they are really going, well, you look at them, they're 0 in 3 on champion and gold. But really, the big gold medal hunter is on the 2nd place. We have Carl Jr., who over 6 steps never got worse than a gold medal. And still isn't first at the end because he only got 1 champion medal.
Top 6 every single week.
What I call consistency right there by Carl Jr. Yeah.
Top 6 every single week. It's proven capabilities in there, but just never having that final step to get the medal. I believe it was week 4 that Carl got their first champion medal, just dominated through the field. There was also the week that Oltak had an incredible run. It was. This is a player that's been there, done that. This is one of the more standouts of the old generation of Trackmania players who've been there, who've won every medal that you could imagine. We can't fit it all on anymore. He's that far ahead at times, and yet, even with that consistency, even with the capabilities of winning champion medals, wasn't enough, because there's one player that was just able to take 2 back to back when you need it the most. That was Mudda, who was just in form. So the question is Mudda going to be able to carry that through now into the finals, or was this just sort of a last end of regular season burst that we sort of expected to see from someone?
Yeah, I mean, Carl Jr. is so good. He had 5 gold medals this season, and still not enough to cover his total gold medals we had on this player card just now. So that's just something else. But we do have to mention this, I think, and that is the player in 16, Spam, who in the end got like 2 bronze medals and is now demoted. I've been his caster for the last couple of years, been following him closely. It's a very, very sad moment. A titan, absolute beast of the Trackmania competitive scene, and is now not in TMGL anymore. It's really surreal, honestly. It doesn't even feel like it's real. But here we are, and yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that's going to be hard to comprehend for a while. This is someone that you've expected to see in amongst the top echelon of Trackmania's pro scene, has been there for, I think, nearly 15 years, if I'm remembering some of the tweets correctly. This is someone that's inspired a whole host of the names that you're probably familiar with from this split, from the guys in TMGLC and TMGLO, the players that have been watching this for years. This is the guys that they look up to, that they aspire to be. And this is the legend of the scene. And now to watch the sort of steady or sudden, in this case, decline down, and now into 16th, now out of TMGL, it's nothing short of heartbreaking, in all fairness. He's a player that you want to see thrive, and when he doesn't, it just hurts.
Yeah, I mean, that World Cup gold medal right there, that's from 2012.
Oh,
10 years ago.
decade.
10 years ago. And the tweet that went out right after the 2 steps, I mean, you can just see not only him as like a very, very young player, but also the amount of replies that he got from all the players in the community that said that they were so inspired by him, or that because of him they are playing, etc., etc. Really, yeah. It's surreal, but I think we have to move on because I can talk about this for an hour.
We could. Yeah.
Let's go into the highlights. Let's go into happy mode again.
Hey.
Right? And go into the highlights of week 5 and 6.
Ooh.
And, let's roll the video.
Yeah, and if he gets such a good identity, once again, he can definitely overtake. It's all about the final jump going into the identity. We have Papu here in front. Is he going to be able to maintain it? Mudda with such a good straight line into the finish, but actually Bren with a drift, but it doesn't make it.
That's a very good first one. Where's everyone? Scrappy won! Scrappy won with a respawn with a 109. Everyone.
Ok, c'est très rapide pour les deux joueurs, ils ont la même speed et la même trage. Et non, ce n'est pas pitié, c'est Affi pour 3 millième.
Teďka nezvládneš tu identitu, samozřejmě, že ji nezvládneš, protože ti to vůbec nešlo celou dobu. Vůbec ti to nešlo, teďka udáš chybu úplně naposledy. Ty vole, neskutečně, kámo!
Kappa. No, it will be good speed for Mudda on the end. GG, 107.45. Okay, so that's technically what we called.
Oh, mine goes a bit too wide. Otak carrying so much speed through their Binks as well. 1, 2, 3. It's a 3-horse race. It's even a 4-horse race here. Here we go through the jumps. Can Otak pull through? Can Otak pull something together? Come on, Ued. Papu's failed to the line. Resist versus Binks. Fuck, yes, let's go. 0.593.
It's very close though. Affi with a bit more speed, Pack with a better landing though, but it is still very close between them. Pack has a bit more speed, Affi with the earlier landing though. It's so close. Pack just puts the ace out of the sleeve and Pack gets it with
avec une petite longueur de retard. Le drift n'est pas timé pareil entre les deux joueurs, mais c'est sensiblement équivalent. Papou est très à droite, mais pas trop à droite. Ça va, il passe dans le checkpoint et Affi a plus de vitesse, Affi a plus de vitesse, Affi a plus de vitesse. C'est fait. T'es en playoff, champion.
The jump, no one clipped. He's trying to go for a lot of speed on the identity, and Mudda is coming back. Affi is clipping, and it's gonna be a champion medal for Mudda. Let's see, Papu's trying hard to come back. Almost 0.1, very risky from Papu. Let's see Mudda's line. Very nice identity. And it's gonna be the last champion medal. Easy as that. GG.
All right, we're back. Those were 10 Mudda highlights right there. I don't know where the other players were, but yeah, was
TMG.
definitely the week of the Australian right there.
Trackmania Mudda. Track Mudda. It's just all Mudda now. Everything is Mudda. Oh my. Well, honestly, watching all of those medals, how close it was. Ultak's round where everyone was within a 10th, basically, within the final identity to try and get just a chance at a champion medal. That's insane. It's truly phenomenal how close the field has been over the past few weeks. And well, a month and a half now of just pure, intense, constant battling between everyone. There is no room for error because one error will leave you out of the running for an entire week, it feels like. And now we're getting to see how that'll look coming into the finals. We've got that coming up, but we'll get to that a little bit later because I feel like that's something to talk about after the interviews.
Yeah, indeed. And, well, we've been saying his name a couple of times already, so you guessed it who is coming up right now. The Australian, we have him ready, and it'll be 10 minutes of intense questioning here. No, but it'll be a fun interview with him. The winner of the regular season with 3 champion medals. We have Mudda here ready for us, I think?
I believe so. He's just on his way as now. We're just making sure his issues are resolved beforehand. We don't want a glitchy Mudda. We want the true Mudda. The unbeatable Mudda. Okay, how many more nicknames can we think of him before we bring him on? I can think of...
He's okay at Trackmania, basically. But,
he's a pretty decent Mudda. There you go. He's all right.
I'm just, my Discord sound is going off. We have Mudda here in the channel. I think we're ready.
I think so. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
And there he is on your screens.
Yes, indeed. Welcome, Mudda, to the show. And what a week it has been for you. 10-0. How do you feel right now?
Well, super. After a super performance in the Super Week. Although, honestly, the last couple of days I've been quite brain dead. So it's been hard to really do anything, but still feeling pretty good.
2 world records in about 5 days. I think that's a pretty good going on your front. The Knife Edge world record, then the one, of course, on Sunday on stream. It must be one of those really difficult things to know. You have all of that pace in the tank, and sometimes it's not able to be put straight into one run. Is there a sort of mental state you have to go into when you go into one of those matches where you have to try and get into the hot lap mode to make sure that you're not making mistakes to allow you to perform at your peak performance?
Well, when you drive a match like this, even though the objective is to win rounds, you don't ever want to push 100% of your potential, because risking that hard on a track that difficult, you're going to make too many mistakes. So you have to find a balance between consistency and pace, and just try to be competitive as much as possible. And just hope that if you fall behind, that others make mistakes, or that you have a really good identity or something like that.
Yeah, indeed. And that balance, it feels like you got the hang of it in this week right here. Did you feel really comfortable while driving, or were you pushed by your opponents and into some mistakes at least?
No, I felt reasonably comfortable the entire 2 steps. I just made sure I wasn't pushing too hard and making unforced errors. A lot of the times in the start I was behind a little bit, but that didn't really bother me, and especially on a map like Knife Edge, where I knew that there was a lot to gain in the end, or that others could make mistakes. So I try to play a role, or try to develop a driving style where I'm not going to necessarily overtake you, but if you make a slight mess up, I'm going to be there to punish you. I think that's just a more rewarding way of driving. At least I've seen more success from it this season.
Well, you are the only driver to have made it into this TMGL with multiple champion medals. You're the only one to come home with more than one. Do you think that that's something you would have been expecting coming into this season, being the only one to have won 2, and in your case, 3?
Well, at the beginning of the season, I thought there was only going to be like a handful of champion medal winners, like maybe 5 or 6, just like we saw in Challenger. But no, the field is so stacked that almost everyone was able to win a champion medal every week. Just shows how good everyone is, how motivated everyone is, how much effort they're putting in. It's really good to see. I really love playing in the field this stacked.
Yeah, it's definitely been an amazing season for the competitive level itself. And talking about that, this week we had the 2 interviewers coming after you, Affi and Pack, really show up and get themselves a champion medal. Were you surprised by their performance this week?
No, not at all. I know the caliber of players that Affi and Pack are, so you never ever want to underestimate them. It's that's gonna what's the word? It's gonna hurt you in the long run if you do that.
Well, in this case now we are looking forward to the final event, and you must be feeling like some sort of a favourite going into that. You're top of the leaderboard in both the wins section and in terms of the medals. Do you feel like that's something that is playing on your mind? Do you feel like maybe having that idea of being a favourite is not something that's quite set in yet? Or just what are your general thoughts about it, I guess?
I don't really care. I just want to do the best I can. If I win, I win. If I don't, I don't. It's whatever.
Right, I think that's a great attitude to have, but of course, looking at it from a spectator's point of view, I think after this week, you definitely are being seen a little bit as the favorite, maybe. But well, we'll have to see. Did you? Do you have any kind of goal right now? Because you already seem to be overperforming your previous seasons, where you got 4th and then 5th, and either 5 or 6 last season. And now you're here at number 1. Do you want to continue that trend of going up?
Absolutely. My main goal for this season was to secure a place in the World Cup, and the rule for this season was that if you finished first, second, or third in the regular season, you got a spot in the World Cup.
There you go.
I guess like reaching the final 2, like getting to the 1v1 of the finals, is like my next goal, because I never reached it. I got very close in winter 2021. So I think I would like to get there, at least have a shot at the 1v1.
Well, there is the final chance that's coming up this weekend. You've got Massa, Otak, Papu, and Granadi all fighting for that 9th spot in the finals. I just want a general idea. Who do you think's taking it out of those 4 players? Because they're all very good and they're all very capable. But is there any that you particularly either want to be facing or think that would be more likely to be facing in that top 9?
I think Otak will take the final chance. I consider him the favourite of the 4, but it's going to be very close either way.
Yeah, a lot of close battles this season. It seems like it's always hard to call who is going to win in the end. But going into the next, short period before that playoffs arrive, how are you going to prepare yourself to get the best performance out of you once you get into that final?
I don't know. I just do the same practice I've been doing since the format is pretty much the same, just win rounds. Yeah, not much else really. Just do the same thing, but just more of it, and maybe break down the maps a bit more if I'm struggling somewhere. I don't really know.
All right. Well, I feel like the final question has to be this. In general, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you rate Phoebe? This is simply a question from
20.
Phoebe, just letting you know. Perfect.
We have a Phoebe fan club over here right now, I think, on the show, so that's it's going well.
Well, thank you very much. Mudda, this has been an absolute pleasure getting to sit down with you. Wish you the best in the final section, and can't wait to see you perform some incredible feats of work once again, because we all know you're capable of it.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for having me once again. Hopefully I'll see you next time.
Fingers crossed.
Alright. See you.
Bye, Mudda. Thanks.
Oof. It's confidence.
Yeah. Confidence for sure. Yeah, I mean, seems like Mudda, we are always busy with, who's the favorite? Who is going to win? Who has the momentum? This and that. And who is the best on this map? Blah, blah, all this analytical stuff. But the players, and Mudda in particular here, is just like, I'll just play, see what happens, right? And you know what? Maybe that is the right mentality to have as a TMGL player.
Yeah, I mean, you just sort of come in with the, I guess I could be the best today. Yeah, sure, I'll go for it. Just sort of a almost a devil may care attitude to the way you're playing the game. It's honestly might be the best way to think about it, because you're not overthinking it, then you're not psyching yourself out. You're always giving yourself the bare minimum to think about to compete at that level, and then you can just go from there, because there's no expectation on yourself to perform at a certain level. It's smart. It's a very nice, very psychologically balanced way of thinking of things, and it must be doing some good, because Mudda's the one that's sat number 1 on everything so far this season.
Yes, indeed. It seems to be working out just fine, but I don't know. Maybe the players that are on the bottom 8 of the ranking also have this attitude, but we're not interviewing them right now. No, indeed. We are interviewing someone else. The last-minute qualifier for the playoffs. Affi is coming into the voice chat right now, I hear. And welcome to the show, Affi.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you, my friend. It was, as stated by my wonderful co-caster above me, the most last-minute of last-minute qualifications for you.
Yeah.
The very last champion medal on offer. Tell us more. just a little bit about your thought process going into that final map, your last chance to get into the top 8, and you nailed it.
Well, I mean, going into both steps, my goal was actually just not being relegated to Challenger, because obviously I was not far from the 16th place, and yeah, I just wanted to secure my place in the next season, at least being between 13th to 15th, or in the best case in the final chance, but I was just not thinking about getting in the playoffs, so it's a really big surprise for me.
Yeah, and now here you are. We're interviewing you because you got mostly because you got that champion medal, and we saw in the highlights a little clip of you having euphoria right after you get the medal. Can you tell us a little bit about that moment?
Yeah, I mean, I missed out so close on the first champion medal in step 5. Just clipping the identity on heart and yeah, getting sniped on in the end. So yeah, I was happy with the gold medal, but of course I wanted to get that champion medal at the end of the day. So yeah, I really thought that Icy Jump wouldn't be my map. Like I was not good at it when playing it again, since it's been like 6 weeks since we played it the last time. But yeah, I guess the pressure and everything made me play good on it, and yeah, in the end, it was a big relief.
That sort of adrenaline surge powered you through that map. But you were number 10 out of 16 to achieve a champion medal. You actually managed to knock 2 of them out of the top 8 in the process, slotting yourself right in the mix in number 5. Are you surprised that this is the outcome? I think we've asked everyone this question at this point, but is it at all shocking to see just how close the competition has been, even at the very, very top in terms of the champion medals?
Yeah, this season was the closest we've ever had. I mean, it was for the rankings, but also in the steps. You could win or lose a match for basically nothing. If you get lucky and get these runs where you are like 200 of a second in front of the second place, you just win your match. And if you get sniped every time, you don't get any point, and you just go to the lower matches. So yeah, it could go either way in every steps. And yeah, in the end, it shows how close it was. And yeah, I mean, just one player made it to the 3 champion medals, though, so that shows that yeah, we all had the chance to actually perform this season.
Yeah, indeed, and you know, you were second last year, incredible performance, and the start of the season looked a little bit rough for you.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's more of a, oh, I got sniped a couple of times at the start of the season, and now you got more on the lucky side, or did your performance actually improve over the weeks?
I can't explain. Like, I think the first 2 steps, in my opinion, I was playing bad, not good enough to get any good result. So that was my bad. But in step 3 and 4, I was just going all out in my training and in the matches, and it still wasn't enough. So yeah, I was questioning myself about my training or the way I approach the matches. But I don't know. I don't know if I played better in the end or if I got more luck. I don't know. It's just it just feels nice to be to finally make it in the last 2 steps to finally have a good result.
Well, in that lobby, you took down Bren and Papu, who were also hunting for those champion medals. Of course, you know, Bren sat pretty modestly on the table. I can't remember where Papu finished, my apologies for that, but it does feel like that was maybe as close a final lobby as it could have been, because it can't really get much more difficult than knowing you're one round, one map away from being either top 12 and safe and secure, maybe even top 8, or just being simply nowhere and down in that relegation battle.
Yeah, I think that last match, I think Mudda knocked us out a bit at the beginning. He was just going too fast. But since I was more going for the consistent runs, he failed once the identity, and I got that run. So I think that was a bit of a bonus for me to already have 1 point compared to Bren and Papu, who didn't have any. And so when Mudda finished the match, I had that 1 point of a lead. And but yeah, having Bren finishing when I was finalist, having Bren finishing first 2/10 in front of me. So I was putting cars on every time I was approaching the end of the final straight of the identity. So when I saw Brent point 2 in front, I was like, okay, I'm not winning this round. And the next round, I actually put the cars on. I don't see him, but he came back with his different strat. And that like 0.03 snipe was actually hard to handle. But yeah, I was glad that in the end, when I saw Papu next to me in the third round, driving side to side, I was the one getting that 0.03 of a lead. So it felt good.
Yeah, it must have definitely felt good indeed. And I love the, going through the last couple of rounds there and you describing them and like you're saying, oh, a car's on and what goes through you. I mean, it's really nice to hear from the players themselves what happens in matches because we are only just, spectating and yeah, we can obviously see the cars coming out. But yeah, you mentioning it like this is very, very interesting. And now you're in, this is a bit of a set shift, I guess. But now you're in playoffs, and now you have to think about how you're going to handle playoffs. Last year you got second. You think you can get there again?
Well, actually, when I finished step six, I was like, "Yo, when are the playoffs?" Actually, because I was just not thinking about it. I was just thinking about relegations or final chance. So I was like, "When are the playoffs?" So it's actually in 2 weeks or 1 week and a half from now. But I think the mindset for quite some players is that Zerator is actually taking the maps out now, and since it's the biggest event we have right now with that stage in Paris, I have fear that some of us are not gonna train that much the playoffs. I will still put a good performance, but I don't think I'm gonna be as no-lifed as I was for the previous season.
Well, final question. This one, I asked Mudda the same question, and it's not about Phoebe, unfortunately. It's about the final chance competitors. You've got Massa, Otak, Papu, and Granadi hunting for that 9th spot in the finals. Who do you think, out of those 4, is the one that's most likely to join you in the top 8 in that battle going into the final rounds? Who do you think, out of those 4, is the most likely to do it?
Well, I think looking at the map pack and the performances that I could see during the season, if I had to place a bet, I would place it on Otak.
Okay,
he's the one that impressed me the most during the matches I played against him.
That makes you and Mudda, who have both gone for Otak, so it seems to be a sort of everyone's backing Otak in that fight. But, it's going to be close between everyone.
Of
course. It could go anyway.
Yes, indeed. And with that, sadly, we're running out of time here, Affi, but I want to thank you for coming on the show. I want to congratulate you on getting into the playoffs. So happy to see you there. And, of course, the best of luck going in there with the top 8. And yeah, can't wait for it to happen.
Thank you very much and have a nice evening.
You too. Well, more confidence. You gotta love it from everyone involved. Whenever the players feel confident in themselves and are happy and are clearly just enjoying the moment. That seems to be what I was radiating off of Affi there. Just enjoyment of being here now, of having that having that champion medal. I almost said author medal, not the same. And just being very confident in their own abilities to make it, even if they may be distracted with other events going on.
Yeah, indeed. And I'm just kind of happy for Affi here. It's definitely one of the happy results that we've had over the last 2 weeks, where someone who I feel like, and I think a lot of the people in the community feel like deserves to get into the playoffs, gets in there at the last moment.
Yeah.
It's a nice story, if anything, right?
Yeah.
And then, we have another player there with a happy, last 2 weeks, last 2 steps. And an interview is coming up. We have Pack here ready for you. Hey, Pack, how are you doing?
Hey guys, I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, thank you. It is it finally came. It took 5 weeks, technically 6, but you got it. The champion medal for the reigning champion. Do you feel like the week 5 map pack was a little bit better for you? Was that the one that you were looking forward to the most out of the 6 sets?
Yeah, I finally felt like it fit my style. Yeah, it just worked. I mean, the last 2 maps kind of were good for me. The last one especially has been good for me. I was really worried after map 1 though, when I played probably like the best 3 people on what's the map called? Tiny Gap, because I lost that one and I thought, oh great, I've been waiting for this week 5 now for an extra week, and I thought, oh god, it's just going to be another one of those days. But I was so happy to get the champions medal, and all the hard work kind of finally paid off.
Yeah, man, I'm very, very happy for you, Pack. And it's really interesting to me. A little tidbit that we got going into the last week is that apparently, if you end up in the seeding in the top side of the bracket, right, in the top 8, like if you win the first match, for example, that would have a very, very high correlation with how you would end the step as well. And you're kind of breaking here. That's pattern here by losing the first match and then a sick comeback right after, right? So, like you said already, losing the map 1 and then coming back. But after track 3 and 4, you must have had the momentum again. Did you feel confident at that point?
Oh, I felt so good. I mean, after getting through track 2 with getting into the 3rd place match, I was already thinking, okay, you just need to do it again, win another one. And then going into Knife Edge, I thought it has to be. I already had it. I had a really good PB on there, and I was thinking, just be consistent, man. Just get through this. You can do this. Just win another one. And then when it finally got to the 2 new maps, I thought, right, now is the time to just show what you've been practicing and what you've been doing. And then I go against, I think it was Binks and Affi, who were ridiculously fast at the track. I thought, God, are you kidding me? Like this is just not going to happen, is it? And then I think I did a 0.9, I won an 07.9 in the match. I was really happy with that. But I've seen other people's times, and that was ridiculous. I'm so glad I wasn't like in Champions match and other situations. But yeah, I was so happy to win that one. And then when getting into the Champions match, it's like a all in kind of. You go all in or you lose everything. So my mindset when it comes to having to win, I think, is a lot better when it's it's the final match. You need to win, and if you win, you get the best possible outcome. Whereas if I think all the other matches, I don't know, I feel like my mindset to them is a bit different. Like, oh, you could lose this one and it's all right, or you have to win this one, but then you have to win another match after this. So I feel like when it's the final match, my head's in gear and I'm ready to actually do something, and getting into the champions match and winning the champions match was good and kind of like my kind of style.
Well, despite all of that, you had that champion medal in your pocket, but also things weren't necessarily safe for you. I mean, we've seen it already. 2 players had champion medals. They didn't make top 8 because of the amount of players that ended up getting champion medals and the golds having to tally up. Did you feel safe after step 5, or was it definitely something in the back of your mind of, okay, I need to go big here, I need to go for gold or another champion in step 6 just to confirm all of this?
I don't know, really. I got the champions medal and I just felt really confident. I knew all I needed throughout the whole season. I was like, just get a champions medal and you should, you'll feel a lot better about how you've been playing, and like you'll feel a lot better and more relaxed in where you are. So I went into step 6 thinking, okay, you've just won that, let's go again. And so obviously you start on Knife Edge, and I haven't lost a match on that one yet, so I felt confident there. And then obviously the 2 new maps, I was feeling really good, so go through those. And yeah, I mean, it was when it got to being in match 4, and thinking, right, okay, where am I at? You know, what's happening? Where's other people? That's when I started to like not really think about winning anymore. It's more about just maintaining above people that I needed to be above, like Kappa, Massa, and Otak. Because I already knew I'd stay ahead of Otak and Massa because I had a silver and they didn't, or I think Otak had a silver and Massa didn't have a silver. So I was just like, okay, make sure you beat Otak. Massa's not the main goal here. And then, yeah, when I got into the final match, being in gold or silver, I already knew at that point that I was safe. Even if Papu and Affi got a champions medal, I somehow worked out. I mean, I asked the other people on my server, so I was like, I was messaging Carl and Massa and Gwen. I was like, guys, what's the medal situation? Where are we going to be? What's happening? And then Massa let me know what was going on. So I was really happy about where I was, and I was just like, yeah, okay, fine, we're good. Everything, there's nothing really to play for anymore. So, yeah.
Yeah, big lift off your shoulders there. And now you're in playoffs again, which honestly, at the start of the season, it looked a little bit rocky, but it's good to see you back here in the top 8.
Thank you.
Well, now looking ahead, can you win it again?
I mean, this is where the tournament starts, isn't it?
Yeah.
I really enjoy playoffs. I always look forward to the finals. The league itself, I see it as like a target to get to playoffs, and then playoffs is where I really want to do well. I mean, there's nothing against the league. I mean, I want to win the league at some point as well. That'd be great. But playoffs is 2 weeks of training, and then it's just one evening of just trying to win all of it. I really enjoy it, and I would like to win it. If I had to give any predictions on who I think would, I really feel like Mudda's in such a strong position. Like the tracks that are in the final really do suit him. I think they suit Massa as well if Massa can get through final chance. But yeah, I feel like even actually Bren as well. Bren has so many good maps. I feel like there's a lot of people who have got a lot of chances to win this, and I feel like it will be a highly competitive playoffs for sure.
Well, following on from your comment on Massa, I'm going to ask the same question I've asked the previous two, because this seems to be my one and only question that I've got in the back pocket. The final chances coming up this weekend. You've got Massa, Granadi, Otak and Papu. Who out of those 4 players would you expect to see, or maybe predict to see, in your top 9 in the finals? Who do you think is the most likely to make it through? You don't need to give a reason, but I'd love to hear one.
Okay, well, I mean, I think no one's expected. Out of those 4, you can't go, you know what, they are, stronger, they are a lot better. It's like 4 evenly matched players, in my opinion. The tracks really suit Massa. So I'd say he's quite likely. But then again, these guys, if they play all week, anyone can sort of like turn the tables with this. I mean, Otak for his first season would be really cool to see get through final chance. But then again, these guys got nothing to lose anymore. They can't be relegated. It's just, one good match and they're in. So yeah, I'd say Massa's likely because of the map pack, but any of them could actually make it through, to be honest.
Yeah, indeed. And now we have a sad story at the end, and I do want your thoughts a little bit on this, and that we have Spam now being demoted from TMGL after I don't know how many years of him being at the top of the competitive scene. Many of those years together with you, and I feel like you guys definitely have somewhat of a connection there. Can you talk a bit about how you felt about Spam now having to be demoted?
It's gutting, really. Like he's been there all the time. I think almost every event for the last 7 years we've practiced together to like get ready for the tournament and play the tournament. We've had calls throughout the majority of the season as well. Just we practice together in the night. Whenever I have time, like he'd be practicing all day doing his streams, and then in the evening he'd be shelling out some more time to help me and have calls with me. So yeah, it is sad. It is really sad, that Tim won't be in the next season. but you know, I guess in a way through our conversations, you know, the time was sort of coming with Grand League because the format was changing all the time and getting to the point where the format was always not favoring him. So you start off with laps. He was a consistent player, perfect. And then it changed to the multiplayer where you had to win a round and be fast, which is not Tim's strong point. He is a consistent guy. And then now the whole thing is based on being fast, one lap, winning rounds, and it's just a killer for him. I mean, I really hope he does play Challenger. I think it'd be really good content. I'd watch it a lot more because it'd just be funny to see him play. But yeah, you know, it is really sad. It's a kicker for the Grand League because we've lost like one of the longest standing players in the top scene. So yeah, for me as well as a friend of him, it does suck. I mean, I really do hope he does build me tracks for next season and does come along and help me practice. But yeah, I was really gutted to see the message. I mean, I obviously knew it was potentially coming. We had discussed it anyway. But yeah, it was a killer to actually see it happen. Like there was always a belief in my heart, like, oh, you know, he'll get a gold. He'll do it at some point. It was just it's happened all the time, every season. He's come through. But it's a shame this one was the end of it.
Well, we all know that Sven will be forever in our hearts, no matter where he ends up going. If he goes to Challenger or decides not to, it's his call. And he'll always be with us. But we thank you for your time. We have overran, but we will do our best to wrap up real quick. Thank you for your time, and we'll hopefully see you again very soon after the finals event.
Hey, fingers crossed. Anyway, thank you guys. Cheers for having me.
Yes, thanks back, and good luck.
Cheers.
Well, we're back in the emotions. Great. Thought we'd gotten away from those.
Yeah, you know, this is something I think that really makes the TMGL now, is that some people have been in here for so long. You really get a connection with the players, and this is what it's, you know, this is what it's all about in the end, right?
Yeah.
It's about competitions, it's about rooting for people, and, you know, cheering for people, and sometimes they don't make it, sometimes they do. So yeah, there we go.
And speaking of rooting for people, we do have, real quick, a little run through of the final chance. We've got a little preview for you here to showcase the final map pack as well. So we're going to have a look at this. And this is the format for it. You get to see exactly who will be facing who and when. It'll be an all-German first half and an all-French second half. The winner will be determined in a Battle of Europe in match 3. And yeah, it's 100% one of the more tougher variations. It's a true 1v1 setup between the 9th and 12th players. We heard the support. It's 2-1 in favour of Otak, Massa being the other favourite, but you can't doubt Papu, you can't doubt Granady. You know they're going to put up a fight in their matches. It could honestly go either way.
It could definitely go I have no clue who is going to win here. The format is going to be a little bit different because you're now playing 1v1s instead of you know, 4 players in the match. So that is already a very different dynamic, much more, you know, looking at, hey, what is the other player doing, maybe even Carson, or looking at the checkpoints, right? And you're dynamically adjusting your lines according to what the other is doing. We'll have to see who is good at that in the end. And, you know, the players that can really handle such a format will probably have an advantage. Because honestly, skill level-wise, no clue here who is going to win.
Yeah, 4 points required to win a map. Then you need to do that 2 more times. You have to win in a best of 5 with 5 different tracks being played. It is as competitive and as tough as it possibly could be in these sorts of situations. And for players that are consistent, this is a dream come true. This is your game mode. This is exactly how you would want to play. If a guy like Spam had made it into this would be something he'd be thriving in. It's these sorts of very high intensity but requiring consistent high level performances that maybe one of these players might just thrive a little more. We've seen Otak's burst of pace, but is that something that can be transferred to consistency now coming into this game mode? Or will we see someone like Massa who, you know, is maybe the alternative favourite here, could be the one to take home that final spot in the final?
Yeah, indeed. We'll have to see, and this is of course going to be happening at the end of this week. So still TMGL content, even though the regular season is over.
Oh yeah.
And that's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely going to watch that one. And with that, let's move on to the Challenger, which has also, the regular season has now ended. Well, Mudda has 3 champion medals. That's pretty good. But, you know, we have Soldier with 4 champion medals at the end of the regular season. Absolutely dominating performance by him. He is the winner. It's 420 with an extra 0. He's blazing it at the top there. Yeah. You know, in my opinion, definitely the favorite to get the win here in the final of the Challenger.
Someone needs to Photoshop it where it just has the 69 on the end of the bronze medals. It'd just be perfect that way. But honestly, it's the season to remember. This is as perfect as it could have gone for Soldier to push through. Looks so dominant every other week, but not the only one that looked pretty dominant. Wasil with 3 as well, matching the likes of Mudda in the sense they were leagues above at times, it felt like, in TMGLC this season. They make the top 4. The other 2 players to make it in be Quattro and Link, both picking up big wins. Link always being in that upper echelon, challenging for champion medals. Only with the 1, but the 4 gold medals is what carried them past Air, who only had the 1 champion and 1 gold to their name. And a player like Snow as well, another champion in their own right there for BS+. They looked good. Everyone looked good in this sense. There was no really weak player in Team TMGLC, similar to how TMGL was. Everyone was so competitive and constantly vying for positions up and down the table, but in the end it's the ones that were at the top more consistently that you can see in that top 4. They proved themselves time and time again, and now they go on to their promotion tournament, which I believe is happening on the 8th.
Yeah, their promotion... Wait, you mean the final of Challenger?
I'm bad at this. Yes, the
final Challenger is on the same day as the final chance.
Yes,
so,
it is.
Yeah, indeed. And in that one, we are going to decide. Well, you have the 4 players, Soldier, Wosal, Mikwato, and Link. They are going to play. And the winner of that final will qualify directly into the Trackmania Grand League.
Yeah.
And therefore, you know, take the spot of spam, let's say. The others will, qualify themselves for the head-to-head where they battle directly with the TMGL players that are 15, 14, and 13.
Which
so,
I believe is Bink, Scrappy, and Gwen, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
That sounds right. That sounds right.
Indeed, so that's going to be a very, very important, final for these players. Soldier having the advantage in map picking order, but other than that, it is a straight skill check for these players, and we'll have to see who can be the player on top there. But going back to the ranking just a little bit, I want to have a shout out to Snow, who got the champion medal in the end. Therefore, saving himself the spot in Challenger for this season. I think that's very remarkable. And then we also have a tie for 12th position. Oof. And this means that they will somehow have to decide one way or the other who is going to be 12 and who is going to be 13. And this is actually very, very important because 13 is out and 12 isn't. So, wow.
12 gets you into the TMGL Challenger Promotion Tournament on the 8th of May. The loser goes down at Open, which is probably the worst thing for both Darkwix and Tween, but what a performance in this sense, how close it has become just in the final week. I don't even know how this is even possible to have it where it's just fell so perfectly in this final week. Looking through just to see how it could have evolved, Darkwix with a gold medal in week 5 that might be the reason, really. Just week 5, just having a really strong performance pushes him into that position, and it's gotta hurt if you're Tween, because you were there. You pretty much had it wrapped up, 12th place, but because Darkwix decided to have one good week, now you've got to fight again for that top 12 spot. It's gonna be tough, but for both players, I feel like it's just gonna be another day in the office.
Yeah, indeed, you can see Mika right above there with one more bronze medal, showing how important a bronze medal actually can be, right? Because, a lot of times people are focusing on champion and gold and silver, maybe a little bit for the tiebreakers, but here we are, bronze medal making all the difference.
Yeah, especially for those two, because they are already into that promotion alongside Evon, who unfortunately just missed out on the top 8, thanks to Razi getting a 3rd silver medal, and Skandir as well, also getting a 3rd silver, but Now, you feel like that's a lot of TMGLC. What about the bit below that they're going to be fighting to try and stay away from? That's TMGLO, and we do have our final with the top 16 qualifiers. You can see them on screen. I won't read them all off because you can read those names pretty clearly, but maybe you want to, Sinus? It's up to you.
No, I don't, but I do want to look at how many blue, white, and red there is in there.
Yep.
Also Alcon,
and
who is with those colors. And Wizzy as well with those colors. Yeah, that's a good one.
Do not forget the British flag.
How dare I?
How dare you?
Sadly, no Netherlands here, but that's okay. We have some very, very interesting names here coming up, potentially qualifying themselves for the Challenger next season. Here we have the top 16. Top 4 after the final of TMGLO will qualify directly into the TMGLC. And then we have the top 5 till 8 that will have the head-to-heads, basically. And will battle the 9 to 12 in TMGLC. And like we said already, it is very important who get the 12 spots between Tween and the Darkwick. So this is why.
Yeah, I mean, it's so intense at this point. You've got some more recognizable names from within the community. You've got players like Elcon Vulnera, everyone's favorite. I'm not going to say the meme. I'm sorry. He's just Feed. There's
no Beck Jr.?
No, Feed.
Oh, Feed. Okay, sorry.
It's a long Feed, apparently, is the go-to meme now. Don't understand it. But you've got players like Barbos and Ratchet, you've got Mimo Jr. Crosshairs, of course, representing Azerbaijan. You've got so many talented players from so many different regions, and so many French players. It's not even funny. There's 11 on that screen, if you can't count. 11 out of 16.
Lots and lots of good names. Definitely excited for whoever gets themselves into the Challenger, because I think they will, shake the format up there in the Challenger next season, and definitely show that they should be there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be intense. That much for certain. The winners of this, of course, facing up against the guys we've already mentioned. 5 through 8 will face 9 through 12 from TMGLC. But looking through all of this, there you go. You get to see the format for the final now, which I believe is the C and O versions of it. So yeah. It's definitely an interesting situation for TMGLO now. How do you continue pushing through that final 16 into the final 8 when you've already proven so much by getting through the open qualifier, which is such a much more arduous process than maybe any other league or any other branch of TMGL?
Yeah, indeed. And, well, this format is going to be very exciting to watch. And, final 16 into final 8, cup mode. Love cup mode. And we have had a lot of cup mode this season, which is very good, because I love cup mode.
Yeah, cup mode's great. It may be my favorite mode of cup. I ran out of things to say.
Yeah, but, lots of finals, final chance. We have TMGL final, we have TMGLC final, we have TMGL final. We have head-to-head, so much more Trackmania coming up, luckily.
And it all starts
after the regular season.
On Saturday. Not Sunday.
Indeed.
It starts on Saturday with this. TMGLO is on Saturday. Please tune into it. You can see the schedule right there. How beautiful is that? For the final starting April 16th at 5 p.m. CET. That time might be wrong, so please don't quote it. But if it is correct, do quote it. And then, of course, on the 17th, you will have, I think, roughly around the same time, you will have the TMGLC and TMGL sections of the final. There's so much going on. It's impossible not to be a fan, and it's impossible to try and keep up with all of this, but we're going to do our best to, because we'll be here next week, apparently.
In the meantime, we also have Gamers Assembly going on next week, which will have breaks between the matches, so people can play the Trackmania Open, right? Like,
it's Zerator?
You got Zerator coming up now, and Affi saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be distracted by that."
What do you do?
What
is happening? You're a player, let alone a fan. What do you watch? You just stop streams every 5 seconds, swapping between.
Refresh the Trackmania category on Twitch every time.
Yeah, every 5 seconds, just a new stream, open it up, new browser, stick it on a different monitor if you have it, because you will want to see all of this action. It will be coming to you very soon, but for now, I think that's pretty much everything this week covered, roughly.
I think so too, yeah. And within an hour. Somehow we made it after, having 2 weeks of content pushed into one. But here we are. Regular season is over. We had great stories, we had sad stories, and now we're going on to more, hopefully, great stories with the playoffs coming up for the Trackmania Grand League. Who will win? Literally no clue, because this season is incredibly close. The players are saying it's incredibly close, and you know what? They are right.
Yeah. Well, we won't know until we get to see it, and that will be, of course, starting this weekend on the 16th and the 17th. So be sure to tune in at this very channel, and maybe I think it's all going to be happening here. I hope it is. Otherwise, tune into other channels in the Trackmania section on Twitch, and we'll be seeing you very shortly with more info. But from myself and from Zionist, that has been all for this week. We'll catch you all next time.